So we are live. Of course, nobody's in here yet. I'm 10 minutes early and I'm eating Starburst, and I don't care who knows. What I do need to do is go over to the live control room and see what's taking place here. That's always the hard part for me, is navigating once I'm live, is figuring out how to get everywhere I need to go and getting everybody on board. Trying to go to my events scheduled page. Heading there now. Should be ready. I'm live now. Yay, I'm live now. And we've got 3 watching, so that's even better. So I don't see you guys chatting just yet, but I will here in a moment. Momentarily. This stream is brought to you. No, I'm just kidding. It's not brought to you by Starburst, but I'm eating Starburst, so this is not paid product placement. It's just product placement, but not paid. Juan, Bill. Listen, Bill at Strong's Adventures, don't you tell me what I can and can't eat with all the stuff you're cooking on your channel, man. Man, that's good too. It's Starburst. I'm just kidding, Bill. These are good. These, man, they're just Starburst. It's the candy of champions. Welcome if you just joined us. I'm glad you're here. We're not really starting. This is like, we go into a slow start, you know? We go into like a slow start, but I'm glad you're here. Be sure you hit the like button when you're here. This is going to be a fun chat. If we can get everybody going, this is going to be hilarious. Because I'm trying to think of a chat. I was sitting there, people were asking me about what we were going to chat about. And I said, I don't know. I said, because what seems to hold everybody's attention the most is like UFOs. I mean, it's just a fact. But YouTube is like cracking down on like conspiracies and stuff. They are. I just watched a special on that. So I don't want to get too real. But it's funny, nobody cracks on UFOs. So I'm like, hey. So I apologize for making the crazy. Now Bill, I've got the Starburst face going on where I'm trying to like, you know. Thank goodness I can edit all this out. You know the problem with trying to edit this later is you lose the chat. And I don't like that, because when people are watching in the replay, it's a lot better when the chat is like live and it's going. When you try to edit everything out and squish it down, there's a real big problem there. Because you lose that. It can be better, but if you have like a 2-hour, you know, a 2-hour chat or an hour and a half chat, it's very hard to edit. That's all I'm going to say about that. It's very hard to edit. But this is going to be a lot of fun tonight, because I thought, what would be some things that we need to tell people to remember if they ever encounter a UFO? So it's going to be, this could get funny. This could get funny if we allow it to get funny. I'm going to step away for just one moment. Again, we're starting in 4 minutes. If you're new to the chat, welcome. I'm glad you're here. My name is Bill Marion. The name of the channel is Bill Marion and Knows for Life. But in these chats, they usually devolve and we talk about everything. It gets crazy in here, so you want to stick around, but I am going to step away for just a moment. Thank you so much for being a part of this. I'll be back in about 3 minutes at 9 o'clock. Thank you. Carolyn, just absolutely, I cracked her up saying, I'll be back in 3 minutes, and just left it playing live. I'm like, I had to stop. I had to stop around. Just read the comment. Starburst was a cover to hide a reptilian body. Yes. Yes, that is exactly what it is. Oh my gosh, you guys are crazy. I love it. D-Lo, it's good to see you guys tonight. So the topic here in about 2 minutes, we're going to get cranked up, and we're going to start out rolling with it, talking about some recent ufology news. And that's not really recent, but it's interesting nonetheless, and gave me all the more ideas to talk about how we can unify on this channel and help save the world by giving people a reason to know that they can be safe with all the UFO activity. If we can come together and create a list with your help. I can't do this without your help. That's why you should be tweeting people right now, sharing this on Facebook, waking your neighbors up, knocking on their door, borrowing sugar, whatever you need to do to let them know to tune in to this particular video or live chat, whatever you want to call it, live stream. Because we're going to decide together as a group 10 things that people need to remember if they ever encounter a UFO. Because, I mean, let's just face it, people lose their minds when they see a UFO. I mean, look at the camera. The cameras are always shaking. They forget to try to hold their hands right and tight. And they talk over it like people aren't going to listen later. And they put filters on it, and it's grainy. I'm just saying, what can we do? So let's see. Fly-Fish Starburst was a cover of the reptilian body. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And then, of course, hide me. Me bad. I got you. No, I'm not hiding you, Fly. This is too funny. There's no way I'm hiding you. That's hilarious. And D-Lo says, Bill. Hey. Okay. Hey, Dave. Juan Thomas says, we want to talk about girl UFOs. I'm not sure if I get that or not, Juan. This is a family-friendly channel. This is a family-friendly channel. Again, it's 9 o'clock, so in case you missed the opening, my name is Bill Marion, and this is a Nose for Life. Tonight we dropped a video, and it was a great video. It was about birding, chasing, and twitching. Now, come on, man. When you're trying to find a thumbnail, what kind of a better thumbnail is there than something with birding, chasing, and twitching on it? Now, you got to admit, the names alone. Somebody comment about birding, twitching, and chasing. How many of you knew that those were all terms related to bird watching? I did not. I found them fascinating. Yeah, I know. Okay, so I was stretching a little bit on that video. Okay, but I'm supposed to be making 4 or 5 videos a week. What do you want me to do here? I'm doing the best I can. So you got bird watching. Throw me a bone, and that's why you've got to help me with this video tonight. So it turns out the whole Tom DeLonge thing that we talked about last week, this guy that used to be a rock band singer, now he's like a UFO genius or something, and he shows up on talk shows everywhere and talking about how he's starting this company to develop UFO technology to save the planet. And it's kind of weird. I mean, most people have kind of written him off because he's a space cadet when he's talking. I mean, look, whether you believe in UFOs or not, I don't care. I mean, I'm sure there are unidentified flying objects. Don't get me wrong. Of course, there are things that you can see in the sky that are unidentified, and they fly, and they're objects. But are they alien in nature? Are they the secret space program of the world? What are they? But in any event, we have to decide, what on earth would you do if you encountered a UFO? And we have to come up with 10 things. So we have to start it right now. Somebody needs to fire off at least one thing. And then in the meantime, we can talk about what? Camera. Carolyn just said camera. Okay, but is that something to remember? I mean, you would probably have to have your camera already on you, maybe. I don't know. Because, I mean, it's not like this is alien abductions here. Because, you know, alien abduction, seeing a UFO, encountering a UFO, you can encounter a UFO and not be alien abducted, thank God. Fly Fishing says, Bigfoot related to UFOs. You know, I'm sure there's some UFOs with big feet. Now, whether or not Bigfoot's and UFOs go to the same conferences together and hang out and swap recipes? I don't know. I think it's something to talk about, maybe for the next live stream. Do they do conferences together? Do they do do they do dinner? Do they hang out and kind of swap? They got a support group. There's your question. UFOs, Bigfoot, a support group with the paranormal. They get together, they cry on each other's shoulders. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. I can see that Bigfoot might be in a UFO. I think that would work for me too. Juan Thomas said I would go with them and film the time with them. So that would be one good one there, is to say that, hey, if you're the problem there is that the vague of encounter, and I try to do that on purpose, is that it's vague. It's meant to be vague. It's an encounter. So it's like, what does that mean? Well, we don't want to go too deep into encounter. Remember, this is a YouTube video I'm trying to make here as a public service for the world on 10 things they need to remember. And so they may not have a choice. It may just be an encounter. They may just see a UFO, a Bigfoot-controlled UFO at that, with paranormal people on the inside. I don't know. Could happen. So what would be some things that they would want to remember? Mark says, some are TR-3B asterisk triangular shape aircraft. I would bet most, if not all, TR-3B. I'm going to have to look that up, man. TR-3B, because I almost went with that. Is that the whole... Now, let me ask you your opinion, Mark. I think you've got some prior service time there. Do we have anything in the arsenal that anybody's talking about like that? Because I'm pretty sure we do. I just think most UFOs, I mean, come on, a sidebar here. Most UFOs are military. We know that. I mean, that's a given. And if you don't know that, you need to know that. Most UFO sightings are military, and it's like, you're not supposed to know. Probably good that you don't know. Probably a good thing. Fly Fishing says, little toddler boy last week lost in cold for 3 cold days. Found. Boy said he was with bear. Too cold for bear. Bigfoot, maybe? Maybe? You just never know. Is Sieber in here? Is Matt Sieber in here yet? Matt Sieber should be in here for this. Mark says, check out Kenner, Louisiana. Transformers knocked out. What's going on in Kenner, Louisiana? Kenner, Louisiana. Now, you're talking about Autobots, Decepticon Transformers here, right? I'm just asking. Is this for real, Mark? Real War of the Worlds. Oh, this is the power. I remember when this happened. Yeah, but we don't know that that's UFOs, or, we don't know that if that's related to UFOs. We don't know that for sure, do we? Dun, dun, dun. You know what I would want to tell people who encounter a UFO is, don't focus so tight in on the UFO when you're trying to film it. Give us some perspective and get your buddies to film the same thing, from different locations like around you. That's probably a good thing. A chupacabra. I remember when Alicia back in Life Group, man, that was her thing. She'd say chupacabra all the time. It was hilarious. It's a chupacabra. And I guess there is a such thing as a chupacabra. We found out, right? Maybe. I don't know. It could be a chupacabra. Mark, are you from Louisiana? Oh, that's Bill talking. Bill and Mark are talking. I don't want to get involved with their conversations. It might be personal, private. I don't know. They might be helping each other through a hard time. You can't ever tell about these things. Mike Golson says, Battle of Los Angeles, real? Yes, the Battle of Los Angeles as an incident is real. But, it wasn't UFOs or anything. They say it was because of a hot air balloon. That it was a reconnaissance or weather balloon, and everybody was kind of trigger happy. They acted like millennials at a party. Get it? Okay, bad joke. Terrible joke. Anywho, you're at the early days of World War II, and they were all excited and raring to go because the war had broken out, and somebody said, hey, there's something up there. And it's not like they had really technologically advanced weaponry, so they all just opened fire. Downrange is clear, let it rip, and they all let it rip. But I dare say it probably wasn't a UFO. And all the reports of people that said that it was a UFO, it came after. But nothing in the official report suggests that it was a UFO. UFO in the sense of an unidentified flying object, but not something out of this world or alternate reality. Yeah, so who knows? Yeah, I would definitely tell people. I would definitely tell people not to focus so tightly in on the subject. Give us some perspective. You ever watch these YouTube videos about UFOs, and it's like you're looking at it going, dude, you're focused in on like a light on top of a mountain. And what's funny is, again, you know, I'm always going to talk about the Blue Ridge Parkway. If you're on the Blue Ridge Parkway and it's at night, Carolyn and I, we've got a new thing. We like driving around the Blue Ridge Parkway at night, especially in the summertime. We wouldn't do it right now because we tried to go up there today to shoot some canned footage, you know, for future videos or whatever. We went up there today and like it was probably already 5 or 6 inches on the ground, and the truck was sliding everywhere, 4x4 truck sliding everywhere. We turned around because they'd shut the gate and it was like crazy. But if you're driving around those curves and you look in the distance, you will think something's, you know, some kind of lights are flying through the air, but it's the next ridge line over. It's a car coming around the curve. So that happens all the time. Mark says, military is supposed to have tech from the 40s similar to German tech from World War II, virtual plasma using high pressurized mercury for space, time travel, or anti-gravity. I have no problem believing that the military has, and when I say military, I just mean the industrial complex there. I don't necessarily mean Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. I just mean those people. You know, those people have secret weapons, and some of them might be too expensive, and maybe ever think that maybe that they're too smart to use them. That's why you don't see them out in the open that much, because it's like, no, these are bad. These weapons are bad. We don't need to use these weapons. But I have no problem believing that we can do a whole lot more than we let on. I have no problem believing that. Trump has Tesla's time traveling machine. Well, no, he actually, Leah, check on your news there. That's fake news. Obama has it and won't let Trump have it. And it's a big controversy. And really, everything you're seeing on the news right now is related to that. I promise. Maybe Trump does have the time machine, but if he did, I would be like fixing some things. Matt says they've gotten to you lately, haven't they? I've already been accused, Matt, of being a reptile creature. I've already been accused of it, Matt Sieber. I was just asking about you, Matt, because Fly Fishing was talking about Bigfoot and UFOs, and do they hang out together? And I'm like, Bigfoot drives UFOs. They hang out together in support groups. Jump in there, Matt. That's where we're at. Take off. Enjoy. Leah Golston says, I think you need to check your news. What is your news source? What is your news source, Leah Golston? I want to check it out on Snopes. Trump has it now. Mark says, Leah. Trump. You know, it's funny. I think, Leah, though you were right last week, we were talking about why that one video got demonetized. And that has to be what it was it was recent news that was still very sensitive. That's what it was. That's all it can be. Yeah, Bill's like, yep, Bill just got demonetized. Yeah, I did. I mean, it's a given. The good thing that I know how to do with these videos now is just download them. Download them afterwards. I hate it that I lose the chat when I do that, because I do. I can't download it and save the chat in real time, which makes sense. And so I just have to rely on addressing you guys in the chat, and I try to do a better job at that to make sure that I don't lose the what makes this funny or why I'm saying what I'm saying, and it makes it a lot better. What's up? Dennis is in the house. Good to see you, Dennis. Facebook said it. That's right. Somebody sent me a Facebook post that said that the time machine was in Trump's hand. Live Vision says, here in Oklahoma City, news said last night, weak cattle found mutilated again. Area on edge. You know, we had cows back when we lived in Tennessee, or our family did, and down the road, there were strange things that happened to our cows all the time. And I would hang around to, like, Mom, my stepdad, and talk about, you know, the cattle mutilations are a thing. Because it was the way that these cows were killed. It would remind you of a coyote, but it was, like, neat and stuff. So I'm thinking, is there in Soddy Daisy, Tennessee, were there alien cattle mutilations? Is it possible? I don't know. Matt Sieber, story out of Ohio, I think. UFO lands on farm. Bigfoots come out and steal watermelons, angers farmers. What is it with you know, if Bigfoot would just leave like a tip, I think the farmers would be okay. It's the fact that he doesn't even ask. He just walks on the property. I mean, he could ask. It's a rude thing. You know, he's antisocial. He doesn't come to the picnics. I think that's the problem with Bigfoot anyway. You know, we would like to be more supportive of his, you know, his issues. But you know, if you don't come to the town hall meetings, and if you don't come to church at least once a month, you know, that's how it goes. Michael Gosen said, no, the drunks are too bored in Saudi Daisy or thereabouts. Yes, yes, that's exactly right. Leah Golson says, check the Office of Alien Property. I don't know if that's a joke or not, because I'm wondering if there is an Office of Alien Property, and I'm not even going to go there, but I'm just saying, let me send brain signals, you know? Like, you know, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying I'm wondering if there really is a Department of Alien Property. Owns the place, huh? Yeah. Yeah. So what we're supposed to be talking about, if you just joined us, by the way, again, my name is Bill Marion, and this is the Nose for Life. But on Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock till whenever, we talk about the weird and wacky, though very weird and wacky. And this show has already been demonetized once because we were talking about the real. So we're keeping it to the weird and wacky because for some reason we can talk about the weird and wacky and not be demonetized. But if we talk about the real, it gets demonetized. I'm just kidding. I kid YouTube. I kid. It's all good. YouTube's been good to me. I'm not complaining. It's a real government office. What's it about, Leah? What's the government of alien property? What does it look like? Bigfoot doesn't like regular people, Dennis Jackson says. He thinks they smell funny with all the perfumes. Well, maybe. That could be possible, Dennis Jackson. That could be possible. Teresa Hikes, hi, I'm at work, so if I don't chat, it means I'm busy. Teresa's listening to the chat at work. That is dedication and loyalty to this show, podcast, whatever you want to call it. Teresa, you're awesome. By the way, I want to tell everybody in here right now, we've had 15, 16 people. I think at one count it was up to 18. I want to tell everybody in here, there are YouTube creators all in the chat. If you're able to, you need to go and check out their channels. It's not going to hurt my feelings. You just open up another browser and check out their channel. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. People that come into this chat are good YouTube creators. They're solid. They're good family people. They're people that you can trust their content to be rich and pure and make a great connection there. Teresa Hikes is one of them. And, of course, I'm still waiting for Mike and Leah to tell me when they're starting their channel. Oh, did I say that out loud? I'm sorry. So Bill at Strong's Adventures, he's got a great, and if I've missed somebody, I'm sorry. If I've missed anybody with the channel, please forgive me. But there's several people here that have a channel. And, you know, all of these channels are great. And so you want to make sure that you check them out. And no, I don't bribe them and say, hey, you know, come on here and I'm begging you. I don't do that. They come on here. I did Teresa, though. I said, Teresa, this is a last chat. I said, listen, we're going to be talking about the Blue Ridge Parkway. Come by the channel and we'll come by the live stream. We'll talk about your channel. But this time she came in on her own. So make sure you check the channel out. It's great. She goes to places that Carol and I don't get to go, so it's really awesome, but it's still primarily Appalachia. So you guys here in this room, I know you're going to enjoy it. If you enjoy our channel, I'm sure you'll enjoy that one. So check it out when you get time. That was like a 3-minute commercial. That was pretty awesome. 3-minute commercial. So in my last video, I talked about, in the one about birds that so far hasn't been watched by too many people, but I actually talk about a red-headed woolly weezy. It's a bird, sort of. And I talk about the links being in the description. I'm just curious, does anybody in here, do you check the links when people say that? And links are in the description. I mean, I used to, still do. Does anybody in here still check out the links in the description of a video? I'm waiting. One of the problems with live streaming is the delay in answers. All the air that you have to fill. Because there's a delay between you talking here and there's a delay between me talking there. So it's like if I ask a question like that, I have to have Phil ready. And Phil's not a person. Phil, like F-I-L-L. But I have to have Phil ready just in case. And just in case things like right now where I'm like waiting on the answer. Still waiting. And nobody's talking. So I'm still having to fill. So let me show you something here. This is why, right here, see this right here? Reese's, it's like a Reese's heart. And this is not paid product placement. I am not sponsored by Reese's, but I can be for a price. This is what gets you in trouble right here, because you don't think there's a whole lot in this, but if you're a diabetic, you just don't need to be eating that or Starburst, because, right, Bill? Right? Bill knows I'm not supposed to be eating that stuff. He's always getting on to me. But yeah, so it's a crazy time right now. UFO, in case you missed it, in the UFO world right now, you've got the Pentagon videos that came out last year. They're pretty interesting because those videos can't really be debunked. They're from the Department of Defense. The Department of Defense and the pilots have owned the video. In other words, they said, yes, the video is authentic. After that, it's just like what's in the video. There have been some people online and even some prior service people who have said, wait a minute, there are some issues with the video, but nothing definitive. So those videos have not been debunked. And again, there's no way to totally debunk it because whatever is in that video is in the video. It could possibly be that they've messed with the contrast. I think that was something that I heard, and that it's actually another jet. But I don't know why the Department of Defense would just let us believe in a lie. I don't think that's, or maybe they would. It's a whole other conversation, isn't it? But so that hasn't been debunked yet. It's just weird. And that was from last year, and it's still talked about. People are still talking about it. There was also an incident out west, and I try to have some prep work done for this very reason, to be able to show it. Cannot find the video right now, but it's been circulating. It's hit the major news outlets. The only way I could show it is if I play the major news outlet. And during a live stream, it's just kind of difficult to do that to get the volumes right. But it was out west. These filmmakers were out getting stock footage like Carolyn and I were going to do today, and just kind of shooting panoramas. And something came in from the top left part of your screen when you're watching it, and it zooms by faster than the frame rate. And if you don't know what a frame rate is, you can check it out. Just kind of Google it. It's like how many frames per second that you're watching. For instance, we're pretty slow on this video right now because I have to alter it just a little bit. But the frame rate, it was beating the frame rate. In other words, it's pretty fast. And so far, to my knowledge, it's not been debunked yet either, because it's insane. It's kind of weird. So what are these people seeing? Are there real UFOs? Now, if you've watched any of my videos, I've mentioned this a couple of times. I don't believe in life in outer space and on other planets. I don't believe. I used to. I did for years. And it's not a skeptic issue. It has to do with my faith and just not seeing it, not seeing that there's a possibility. And I think all the evidence scientifically points to that as well. I think Earth is special. I think it's exactly opposite, on the other hand, of what science teaches, that Earth is not unique and all these things. No, Earth is awesome. Earth is a wonderful place. Did you know that Earth is the only place where you can see a rainbow? You can't see a rainbow on any of the other planets that we know about. Why? Because you need a plethora of water to see a rainbow. And not only that, but the sun has to come in at 42 degrees to hit those little water droplets to create that rainbow. Wow, it's so funny. You start mentioning God on this channel, and man, people just start dropping out left and right because they started mentioning God and they just get scared. Or it's a delay and I'm seeing it like when I was talking about the first part. I don't know. But you start mentioning God and saying you don't believe in life on another planet, then they automatically assume that you're a skeptic with no imagination. Oh, I believe that people see stuff. I believe they see stuff all the time. When I say all the time, I mean, the typical percentages that you hear, 0.5%, 1/4%, and of all of the UFO sightings probably have some legitimacy. About 1/4% of all of the UFO sightings have legitimacy, but most of those reports probably have something else to do with something else going on, that it's either the military or something that is explainable, but we don't know what it is yet. But I think some of those things are spiritual, and that's not what the topic of tonight is. Because what I do think is that people are seeing more and more of these things. I'm not sure if they're seeing more and more, or if maybe we just have our cell phones out and we're videotaping more. I think that tends to be what I think it is. But what I tell you what irritates me, despite the fact that I don't think there's life on other planets, I get irritated when science, like, okay, Neil Tyson DeGracy, it just aggravates me. He really bashed the videos, the Department of Defense videos. He said that he's glad that the military looked into whatever it was. It's got to be explainable or a misunderstanding. But he said it's just, he's very skeptical because, there's no evidence, there's no traces. So he's okay with the military spending. They spent $22 million over, I think it's like a 5 or 6 year time period studying this stuff. I forget how much money they spent. And he's okay with that, but he's not willing to say that it's anything but something that's, explainable, scientifically. I don't get that. I'm kind of confused about that. It seems hypocritical to me. You guys are just like boring me to death in the chat room. Come on now, help me out here, man. We lost 3 people here. People are falling left and right. The battle is real, folks. The battle is real. Where are you? We're supposed to be trying to save the world right now. No, nothing. Crickets. Crickets. You're going to have to make me eat another Starburst, and I'm dying to. I mean, I can feel my mouth puckering right now for a Starburst. You have no idea. And it's hilarious. Your opinion on things like UFOs and what people should do, what should our attitude be? And here's another theory that somebody said, is that we could kind of answer the questions once and for all if we just focused on it. I don't know about that. I'll tell you what does scare me a little bit, though, is, and I've talked about this before, is a great deception. Like trying to sucker people. Like, how easy would it be to sucker people into believing something? If you've ever been down to one of the parks in Florida, I won't mention the name of the park, but they have their night show. It started, I forget, I think 5, 6, 7 years ago, and they use like this type of projector on the castle. I already told it. Never mind. They use this projector to do this show on this structure that looks like a European castle. And when they're doing this show, it's crazy because of what they can make this thing look like. I mean, it doesn't even look real. And this technology's been around for like a long time. I mean, there's countries over in Europe that hire companies to come in for their independent shows or whatever, and it's just amazing. I would recommend watching it on YouTube. It's just crazy what they can make this place look like. It's nuts. And I'm just wondering if we're not getting set up for some type of deception. I'm just wondering. I'm just throwing that out there. And trying to figure out where everybody went in the chat, because like everybody disappeared on me. I have no idea. So yeah, so anyway, so that is what we're talking about tonight, is the whole thing with UFOs and the process of figuring out. I know different people have different beliefs and all that kind of stuff. I know Christians, I don't think it's wrong for a Christian to believe that there's life on another planet. I don't believe that at all. You know, there are people, the comeback that I hear to that all the time is God didn't have to tell us where all the, you know, all the other, that he created other beings. But normally if I had that conversation with people and they really want that conversation, not just a YouTube interaction, but they want a deep conversation about it, it doesn't take long for me to convince them how it's hard to believe it's hard to reconcile that with the other things that we believe in the Bible. It says Matt Sieber is waving at me. I see you, Matt. Matt is about to chat with me on here, so there might be something wrong with my stream. So I don't know. I'm waiting on Matt to get back with me here. He's on a different app. I don't see anybody else talking. I wonder why I can't see you. Matt just said that we're chatting that I can't see you. I wonder why that is. I have no idea. Now I refreshed it. It's better. Okay, we're good. All right, let me back up here. Now I got to back up and catch up with you guys. It says, Mark said that, let me go, I got to go, wow, y'all have really been chatting. I've been talking away and just blah, 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 waiting on somebody to jump in, and you've been jumping in. That's my fault. I'm sorry. Man, you guys have been talking for an hour. I am so sorry. Leah says, I don't check links. I'm probably missing something back here. Well, we'll just start there. I expect you to tell me all that I need to know without the bother of extra work. That's exactly right. That is what a good sheeple does, Leah. You sheeple. Just kidding. Fly Fishing says, coffee cup causes my delay. I totally understand. Jacqueline, let's see. Matt Sieber says, stop it. No Reese's. Man, Matt, you just don't even know. They're right there beside me, but you guys are keeping me strong. We had to have pizza tonight, and it's a long story, but we had to have pizza tonight, and I'm not even going to go there. I don't need to go there. I'm not going to. I love where I live. It's the greatest place in the world. But let me just say something here. The restaurants here, I'm praying for them because I think God's going to do a breakthrough within the restaurant community here. Anyway, Mark says, leaving Boston Harbor on a USCG Boy Tender in 78 saw 3 bright lights following us, moving around in various formations. I was on the fantail and sound-powered phones. Oh, Mark, more. We need more, man. We need more of that. And we need to reenact this for a YouTube video. That'd be awesome. I'm totally serious about that. My Backyard Life. Cracker Barrel would be a better sponsor. You got that right. Cracker Barrel would be a better sponsor. They just don't need me. That's the thing. They don't. Cracker Barrel doesn't need me because they should need me. They should, but they don't. Because I would be a good sponsor for Cracker Barrel. I would, but, you know, they've left me. They really have. We don't get to go to Cracker Barrel as much now. We have one here in Harrisonburg, but when we were going to Cracker Barrel a lot, we were getting to travel more than we do here. I'm telling you, the weather, folks, here is different. It's different in this part of the country, unless you guys, others here now, you guys live over in Ohio and different places. You get it, but I'm just now understanding that winter means business around here. You know, you have to check the weather all the time, make sure you're not doing anything crazy. Okay, what about Casey and the Bear? Is that a rock band, Casey and the Bear? Because it should be. Ladies and gentlemen, Casey and the Band. No? Okay, thought I'd try. No, our government would never lie to us. Bill, you're a patriot. Fly fishing, NASA, never a straight answer. You know what? I agree that NASA, because they can't mess up. If NASA goes on television and says something like, okay, we saw some weird stuff today out the space station door, they would look really stupid if it did turn out to be something that it's not. I think NASA, I think they're between a rock and a hard place, really. I mean, they really can't do a whole lot with their credibility's on the line. You know, they got to be very careful. But you're right. It's always vague with their answers. Mark says they followed us 17 miles, and he's talking about what he saw, the 3 lights. And I called the bridge to tell them. They said those are landing lights for Logan Airport. You're like, for 17 miles? And they zoomed off at incredible speeds. UFOs, man. UFOs. Again, I do definitely think people see legitimate UFOs. I don't think that they're alien in nature. That's just my belief on that. I don't fault anyone who doesn't think that way. I don't think that that's something that, I don't think that type of belief is something that separates me from somebody else. But it's something that I do warn people about, is be careful, because a lot of the UFO community, it's just a fact. They act more like cults. They act more like they're in a cult than they do just being observers in some type of phenomenon. Did you say a plethora? Three Amigos, I think. Is that Three Amigos? I think it is. I can't remember. Yes, he said plethora. Is it Three Amigos on that? Fly Fishing says, my brother is a United States Marine Corps. Hoorah. I was Army, but still. Said same thing when his unit was transported by squids. Interesting. Would you say I have a plethora of pinata? That is Three Amigos. I remember. Okay, now you're going to make me crack up. Mark says plethora. Sorry. A plethora, very old school. Mike Golson said, see, you have a plethora. Well, that's great. Dennis Jackson says, got a new place for you to check out, or they just completed for the Foothills Parkway at Wares Valley outside Pigeon Forge. It's open now. David Lowe told me that. D-Lowe, he was in here earlier. I think he's left now. But D-Lowe told me that at the beginning, let's see, it was a couple weeks ago. Said it's absolutely beautiful. And I'm anxiously awaiting. I'm supposed to be back in Tennessee in March, and the first week of March. So I'm hoping that Carol and I are able to take that new route. So that's pretty exciting. Mike Golson says chat lag. I don't think it was chat lag. I think it was Bill's a moron is what I think it was. Leah Golston, I'm being crazy for entertaining in chat, Bill. What are you talking about? I have no idea. Fly Fishing, thank you, brother, for me. He saw stuff in the sky. China is on the back side of the moon. Are they? Yeah, okay, let's talk about this. There's a few conversations. It's not that I don't have patience for. I just don't have patience for. If somebody really needs to talk about and get it out of their system that they've discovered that some people don't believe that we landed on the moon, and they want to tell me everything they think they've learned about that conversation, I will entertain them. It's hard, and I don't know how long I would be able to be quiet on a situation like that. But because the evidence is overwhelming that we went to the moon, But I'm patient with people who can't seem to understand that now. If you look at it through the reference of where we're at now in society and the space race and everything, or not, our lack of a space race, lack of when we do some great things, but manned missions to wherever, we're not doing those right now, and that's sad. So from this perspective, it's hard to look backward in time and see that there was a time that we could actually make it to the moon. I understand that why people would think that for a few minutes until they're presented with the overwhelming facts that yes, we went to the moon. However, if anybody was going to fake it, it'd be China. I'm just saying. Because, I mean, you got your fake iPhones, you got your fake this and your fake that, you got a fake moon landing. And you got we got the technology now that we could fake it. We couldn't fake it then. It was easier. I like what a lot of people at NASA have said. I totally get this. It would be easier to fake the moon landing, than it was to just. Or it would be harder to have faked the moon landing than it was to just go. And that totally makes sense to me. All you have to do, and Mike and Leah, you guys were in my science fiction class way back in the day at Abba's house. At least a few classes. I know that people that were in that class have heard me say this 1,000 times. If you look, and we witnessed it, if you look at the science fiction films of 1966, 67, and 68, even though Stanley Kubrick's 2001 Space Odyssey it's phenomenal as far as the special effects and way ahead of its time, inspired Lucas for Star Wars later, we were still a long way away from even trying to make the moon look, real. All of that was to say this: if anybody has a reason to fake the moon landing, it would be China. They got to keep their people, believing. Don't stop believing, China. You're gonna have to believe, or one day you might wake up and realize, I better be careful. That's all I'm gonna say. Oklahoma, 21 degrees now. Next week to be 70 degrees. Is it really going to be 70 next week? Oh, it's Oklahoma. Oklahoma's like that. It's weird in Oklahoma. Then back to 13-degree weather. Crazy. Flappy says, Matt, bears are hibernating right now. Wake up hungry. Some think Bigfoot kept the boys safe. Warm 3 days. Bears are not actually hibernating. Not all bears hibernate. Not all bears hibernate all winter. None of them hibernate longer than a few days or maybe a couple weeks. Mamo in her den will probably hang out longer, but they don't really hibernate. Like a black bear, they'll get out and eat all the time. Carol and I, when we were on the Blue Ridge, there was tracks all over the place, bear tracks, so they'll get out. But it was still probably Bigfoot. I mean, come on. I mean, hey, I'm just saying. Mark says, Dennis, they opened that entrance at the end of October. I missed something on that one. China made fake moon. Yes, China did make the fake hollow moon even. Mike Golson says Stanley Kubrick filmed the moon landing. If Stanley Kubrick filmed, I know this, maybe he learned something because I know that he got a lot of things wrong about the moon and what things would be like on the moon in 2001. So maybe 2001 was his practice run. That's what do you guys remember the fake documentary that surfaced on YouTube? It was all the rage, man. Millions of views. I mean, it even says in the description that it's satire, but people went around believing it. And so that's what helped propel. I mean, that rumor was already out, but it really helped propel the theory that Stanley Kubrick had helped invent the moon landing. Mark says, let's all stand up for 3 minutes in order for Bill to catch up. We're good now. Yogi does until he gets hungry. Yeah, Yogi does do that till he gets hungry. And that's what from what I understand. I got at our church we have a guy that does the whole bear hunting guide, thing. He does where he takes people out, teaches them how to bear hunt, and they have dogs and all that stuff. And so even though I've chased bears, probably not Carolyn, I've done this ever since we've been married. I mean, that's probably when I got serious. When Carolyn and I got married, we started chasing bears everywhere. We're bear enthusiasts. But this guy is like, that's a part of his income. And so he's taught me a lot about bears. And so they do. That's what happens. They get hungry and they'll get up and walk around, get something to eat, go back to bed. Kind of weird. I didn't know it was like that. It took me a second. Fly fishing, first time here. Welcome, fly fishing. I am so glad you're here. I think I've seen you in some of my other videos though, like leaving comments if I'm not mistaken. If not, welcome nonetheless. Glad you're here. Be sure, everybody, and be sure, you guys, that you hit that. Make sure that you hit. I can't talk tonight. I'm sorry. Make sure you hit that. Smash that like button. Make sure that you're subscribed and click the bell for notifications. All that good stuff. Bill's like, about time. I hear you. I used to have in my videos, man, I had the break in the middle of the video, and people started getting mad about this. And like, when I started growing, the channel started growing a little bit. It's not that I've arrived yet. We got a long way to go. But like in the middle of my videos, I'd have like a 3-minute self-promotion thing, and people hated that. I mean, eventually I started taking the hint and going, okay, I probably overkilled just a little bit. So now I put like one thing, hit the like button there at the 45-second mark. I ask him to subscribe later, and that's it. That's all I do. It's working, I guess. Bear, not Nair. I've used Nair. What? Don't judge. Don't judge me. Do you remember the old commercial, though? If you dare wear short shorts, Nair wear short shorts. I remember that stuff because it gets stuck in your head. Don't even tell me marketing doesn't work. I could sing it right now, but I don't want to embarrass myself. You can sing in the comments, though. That's fine because I can hear you if you're singing in the comments. Yeah. So, nobody has even tried to help me with 10 things. That I'm going to have to come up with this list all by myself. 10 things. Think about this. 10 things that people should remember if they encounter a UFO. I thought people would just be coming into the chat room tonight ready to tell me, Bill, you need to do this. This is what people need to do. This is it. Mark says, anybody checking out Fast Movers on YouTube in regards to UFOs? Fast moving lights caught on video. I haven't seen that. I've watched a bunch of videos where they unexplain camera stuff, where they know it's probably something to do with the camera, but it's weird looking stuff, like people disappearing in intersections or cars that should be hitting each other and they don't. Just weird kind of stuff like that. And then all you got to do is watch a video like that and then watch some quantum physics videos, and then go back and watch those other videos again. You're like, oh, yeah, I know what this is. I know. I got this. This is entanglement and stuff. And then you got that. You're good. Don't wear short shorts, Bill. Oh, but I will, Mike. I will. Short shorts for old men's coming back. I'm telling you, man. It's been out of style for a long time. But if you'll remember, back when all the hippies were wearing bell bottoms, old people were wearing short shorts. Do you remember that? And because it's hanging out in the early 80s still, because I'm old. And old people were wearing shorts, high enough to see Christmas, as my granny would say. Mike, so agreed. Y'all are mean. There's that Yoda voice almost again. Let's see. Bill says, your wife said to make sure to take pictures and you shot her down. Number 1, don't panic. It's plagiarizing, Mike. Now, we both like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Come on now. I love the movie. The old books and stuff were okay, but it was stale. The humor was stale. But the recent movie that came out, what was it, back in 2004 or 5, something like that? It had to be around 2004 or 5 because Carol and I were dating when it came out and got married when, I think it was when it was at the theater. Something like that. Maybe 2003. It was pretty cute. It was funny. Teresa said, 10 things. Make sure you use a really bad camera and make sure you shake a lot. Exactly. You want to get the shot right. You want to make sure it's grainy. How many of you saw the thumbnail that I had for this video? Did it turn out where I'm at the Grand Canyon pointing up at the little gold disc? And then I looked at the little gold disc and it looks like a loaf of bread because I don't know how to fake a UFO. This is a true story. I think I told you guys this last week. There was a particular YouTube channel that's huge now, but it wasn't huge then. And we were chummy. We would talk. Everything was cool. But then I talked about how I wanted to fake a UFO, and I was being funny. Kind of. I was like talking about my channel. I wasn't talking about this person's channel, and they never talked to me again. I think they thought I was going to be some type of, But I have wanted to fake a UFO. There's a buddy of ours, Mike, Leah. There's a buddy of ours back in, and you know who it is. I don't have permission to mention his name, but I would meet in his office at church, and I would draw out how I wanted to fake a UFO. I was wanting to do it up in Lewis Chapel with a balloon. And I had it planned out with strobe lights and everything, and we just never got around to it. That'd be so fun. Gwen says short shorts are called. I'm not saying that out loud. Not. Fly Fishing says Magnum PI. Exactly. Magnum PI short shorts. Yeah. But he could pull them off, man. That was Tom Selleck back in the day. He was tall. He had the big, thick mustache when that was still a thing, and he could pull off the short shorts. I probably don't ever need to wear short shorts. I think you guys are right. I think it would be kind of bad. Yeah. Not good. Not good. Have a pocket full of chiclets. Mark, I'm definitely not saying that. I just looked at it again. No, Mark, I'm not saying it. Short. I need to leave the chat up exactly the way it is now, just so other people can. I don't see why that would demonetize me. We've said plenty for me to get demonetized. Why add to it, or why not? I guess. See, Bill says my son made a UFO because your son's a genius and he's one of them. No, he made a UFO. Excellent. Fly fishing. 10 years ago, UFOs were more believable. Now, too many drones. That's the other thing. It's like most of what. And here's something funny. And like I said, I think that maybe less than 0.0001% of the UFO sightings have any validity at all to be really unidentified. But have you noticed that since we've been seeing UFOs and that we talk about it in the way we do now, because yeah, I know they show up in paintings and all this stuff. Okay, besides that, but in the context of the way we've talked about them since, let's say, the 1920s, 1930s, they do change and morph to reflect more of our technology. I'm just saying, kind of messes things up. So suddenly, UFOs have kind of morphed into looking more like more like what you can do with a drone. Mike Golston says, I faked a ghost video once, and you wouldn't believe the number of people convinced it was the real thing. Exactly. I know I could fake it. I mean, on that UFO and Christianity, I did that. I set that whole thing up in an hour. I set it up and execute it in an hour. And then it took me to edit that one part of the video. It took me an hour because I faked that. And how many people got mad and said stuff later. I had to delete some comments on that when people were just really mad that I faked but I was trying to explain that when you put music on something, that you can tweak somebody's emotion, you can get opinion, you can influence opinion, and you can influence ideas with emotion. And in the video, I put some dark, mysterious music, and I changed my voice. I actually just changed the speed of my voice, just made it sound a little different. And then I showed how I did it, and people were really upset about it. They don't like to be duped, but it's like, don't be duped so easy. You're looking at a light moving around and around on a screen, and you're making the assumption it's a UFO because somebody's telling you that. That's silly. That's gullible. Bill Strong's Adventures, LOL, but he is an aerospace engineer. Yeah, but that's not fair, Bill. It's not fair. I'm thinking, you said your son made a UFO. I'm thinking he's this big, like he's like 9, and he made a UFO like at school. Or maybe he was an alien. That's fine too. This channel is inclusive. We don't exclude anyone, including people from other planets. We want everybody to join in and feel accepted. Leah Golston says, we've made several fake paranormal videos. Mike's like, we made one. Leah's like, we've made several. We've made several fake paranormal videos for training purposes, and you wouldn't believe the responses. That's why I make alien videos, Leah. Leah, you don't have to say that in here. You can just tell people that you're doing it because it's fun and like you're a kid. And you don't have to say it's for training. You can just be honest with us, Leah. You just tell us it's for fun. You're trying to wig people out. It's all right. It's all good here. It's fine. I'm just playing. When y'all get y'all's channel going, it's going to be great. I'm going to have a blast. I hope you guys do live stream. It's going to be so fun. Mike Golston said, all I used was my iPhone. It's all I used for the first year I had this channel was an iPhone. And you can tell I only had 100 subscribers. Less than 100 subscribers. Mark says, scary music on Goodbye Felicia. Mark, I think you're the only person on here who ever references that, but I love it. That was like one of the first things I ever put on YouTube, I think. I think so. Yeah. And it was a blast. And it was canned music is all it was. Fly fishing, most people can't handle the truth. They just can't. Bill says he was 9 and he might be an alien. Well, I'm telling you, I don't know that my kids were aliens, but I think sometimes they have been. Just out of nowhere. They just get crazy, and they should be from another planet. Or maybe they should visit there for a while, because that's how they act, but I love them. I bet, it's funny, because Carol and I are empty nesting bad. I miss my kids a lot. I was making that Disney video. This is so sad. This is pathetic. Totally off subject. ADD is kicking in. Hardcore. But I was making that 10 reasons why I think the Grand Floridian is the best Disney World resort. By the way, if you're a YouTuber and you're watching this, sometimes you do what you have to do to get content out on time. Anyway, did I say that out loud? I can edit that out. Yes, I can edit that out. Anyway, but I'm going through there and I'm trying to tell this story. And I told you guys about this a couple of weeks ago, and I'm trying to set this up, where the kids are a part of it. I cried the whole. Yes, Carolyn, man, she'd hear me in here whining the whole time I made that thing because I missed my kids so bad. Nathan's working. I got 2 kids in college, and it's just awful because I don't get to see him. I didn't get to see my son for Christmas, and it's just blubberfest. So I'm trying to learn to deal with that because I still have some youth in me a little bit, but man, I miss my kids. I just miss them. Just thought I'd share. Most people I didn't make Mike and Leah mad when I said that. I was just kidding, Leah. Don't y'all get mad at me. Stop talking in here. Don't even do it. He was 9, might be. Most people can't handle the truth. And did I mess up the chat again? Because then everybody stopped. I wanted to rewrite the song, That's the Night That the Lights Went Out in Georgia, but make it about an alien, a UFO thing. No? Anybody? Nobody? Okay. See, this did this a while ago where I thought, okay, no, Dennis is there. Dennis said, go to Disney without the kids. I've been to Disney twice without the kids. Carol and I have been to Disney twice without the kids, and it was great. It was absolutely phenomenal. But that was when they were all at home, and we were going, a few months later. We had a conference that we would go to every year, every September, and sometimes the kids went, sometimes they didn't. And Carol and I went twice, stayed there at the Grand Floridian, and loved it. We had a great time. But both times you can ask Carolyn, I'm the one that cries after the kids were down there. Carolyn's like, suck it up, Buttercup. We got to ride Space Mountain. We got dining passes at this time. We got to go. And I'm over there going, but the kids. I don't know. I'm that guy. We pulled the camper down for 2. Man, did you stay there on property for 2 weeks? Because they've got a really cool campground down there. I never thought about doing that, but man, that campground's awesome. It's really awesome. Leah says, I'm sorry, I was busy reporting your channel for the insensitive comments. Man, I watch Wheezy Waiter. I don't recommend him if you have sensitive ears, but if you like humor and you're not easily offended by humor, he's funny. He's called Wheezy Waiters, but he's a YouTube what we call legend. He's been on the platform for a very long time. Politically, he's definitely, I probably wouldn't find a whole lot that I would agree with him on, but he's hysterical. And he's very funny. And he's very inspiring as far as he likes to do crazy stuff on his channel. But even he was talking about, until he lost my train of thought, why I was saying that. Never mind, just skip all that. Wheezy Waiter, he's funny. There. Leah Golston, we need a UFO-seeking road trip with a caravan of campers real soon. Hey, listen, speaking of which, Leah, thanks for the segue there. We have the trip that we were going to plan to the Blue Ridge Parkway. Well, I've hit a snag, if you will, and because I'm gonna have to change the location. I wanted to do the event there on site, and I had the card out to reserve 10 rooms. I figured that was as far as my faith for this could go, was to reserve 10 rooms. The rooms were expensive, and I mean, but that's fine. It's the Blue Ridge Parkway, and it's on the Blue Ridge Parkway, and it's the only hotel in that area on the Parkway. This is in North Carolina, not up here in Virginia. So I had the credit card out, and I'm ready to go. I'm going to reserve these 10 rooms for this conference. It's going to be great. We're going to have a great time, and that's going to bug you guys to death, being like, dude, don't miss out on this. However, there was no place to meet. It didn't include any kind of food at all, not even breakfast. And it was the Pisgah Inn. But Teresa, if you're still eavesdropping there at work, it was the Pisgah Inn, and which I'm sure, Teresa, you can tell them it's an amazing place. I mean, every room has a view of the mountains. I mean, and I'm talking about Gatlinburg, eat your heart out. And that was the problem. So I'm actually retooling this and thinking another direction that either, I've also thought about the Park Vista in Gatlinburg because the views are great. There's a place to meet. You can actually get a small room so it can be intimate. We can have a blast. And so let me know over the next couple of days if that's something you'd be interested in. If you've been to Gatlinburg, but I'm serious, it's not fun unless you have, 25 people, 26. And Mike and Leah will tell you, we used to have these trips all the time with our life group, and having either organized or led between Carolyn and myself and both of us, probably 30 or 40 trips with groups. The more the merrier, but there's usually a cutoff there, 24, 25, And bringing kids are fine as long as the kids, won't chew up the furniture. As long as you can keep the kids from chewing furniture, you're usually in pretty good shape. So let me know if you're interested in going to Gatlinburg and having having a good time, getting together, hearing some public speaking on some of these topics that we go over. Again, not trying to make any money off of it. The public speakers we'd bring in it'd have to be, hey, you're just coming because you want to be there. You want to take a vacation. And yes, there's a way for us to be able to get a discount at the Park Vista in Gatlinburg, as well as not just get a discount with a group rate, but also those rooms are amazing and you can get breakfast with it. Matt says, I have already marked my calendar for this, wherever. Hey, there you go. Matt's in. Matt says, I'm in and I don't care. That's how it's supposed to be. Mark says, it's snowing in Massachusetts. Imagine that, Mark. Mark, you've told me this before. I'm going to ask you again. How far are you from Worcester? Over in Worcester? Because I know that they have snow in Worcester. Crazy amounts of snow in Worcester. It's an amazing place, though. We can have a paranormal presentation. Have one. Have two. Have three. And bring Ghost. And if you bring Ghost, let's talk about how we can get a group rate. Okay, I'm just saying. Because they probably know people. And the more people that show up, it brings down the cost for everybody. Okay, Leah? Help us out a little bit. Become a partner of A Nose for Life. You know what I'm talking about here? Just saying. God, tears falling on cold hearts. God's tears falling. Took me a minute, Mark. Sorry. Fly Fishing says, Perry Stone has a nice place, church area with a lot of land in Tennessee. Might ask him if you all could link up there. I think is what you all, what are you talking about, Fly Fishing? You're coming too. Don't be like you all, like, you're on the outside of the group. You're coming too. I happen to know Perry Stone, and he's got a great facility there, but that's not kind of where I'm wanting to go, but I know Perry. Perry's a good guy. He's come to all of, when I used to do musicals at Abba's house, he used to come down there. He's a great guy. Pretty fun person. But I want to keep it in the mountains. You know what I'm saying? It's not that Cleveland's. I grew up in Cleveland. I grew up there. Where OCI is and where Perry's Outfit is. That's where I grew up. That's where I went to high schools in Bradley County. So that's probably why I don't want to go. A little bit. It's like And besides, the church that Mike, Lee, and myself are out of at Abba's house is probably probably a great. If I was going to go back somewhere, or I'd just have it here at my church, or something like that. Trying to get away, man. I'm trying to get a vacation in, and that's why you're coming fly fishing. Hello, if you are really a fly fisher, you need to be there too, because I fly fish. Strong Adventures, which is AKA Bill. My work is so on again and off again that we can't commit to Pigeon Forge this year. Sorry, I didn't say Pigeon Forge, Bill. I said Gatlinburg. And it still might be, by the way, off the subject. I understand, Bill, totally. I'm still going to harass you, and I'm really not going to take no for an answer, but that's not the point. The Blue Ridge Parkway isn't out of the question. I just thought, I didn't know if I could get more people to jump for it quicker, to say, oh, Gatlinburg, yeah, as opposed to just saying Cherokee, North Carolina at the entrance point to the Blue Ridge. There are some, speaking of paranormal, Leah, Mike, and UFO stuff, is Virginia, the Blue Ridge Parkway through Virginia is probably one of the craziest places. True. The Virginia Skyline Drive is another one of those places. I've got to go check out the area up here at the Virginia Skyline Drive, because I might be doing an injustice to Mike and Leah and Matt Sieber and some of the other ones from that part of the world by not making them come up here for this. It's an 8-hour drive, but man, it's different up here. It's all, it's very different than it is back there where we're from, back in the deep South. It looks like Dixie, smells like Dixie, but it's not Dixie. It's definitely a different region, and it's got a different feel to it, especially the Virginia Skyline Drive. You think you're on the Blue Ridge Parkway, but it's different, very different. Fly Fishing says, I'm in Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping down the where the wind comes sweeping down the plain. That's it, sweeping. Kept wanting to say sleeping because it's late. I don't know. Well, so what? It's like 10 hours from Oklahoma to where we're talking about. It's like 10, 11 hours. No big deal. I've got to drive 8, so you're just adding to 2, 3 hours to it. Fly fish, I don't want to even hear it. You're coming. That's it. You got to be there. You got to love it. By the way, make sure you subscribe, Fly Fish, if you haven't already, and click that bell for notifications so I can harass you about this trip and make sure that you come. Paddlefish. Here we eat dinosaur fish. Whatever works. Matt, you leaving us, bud? Good night. Love you, mean it. Have a good night. Glad you came by. Mark says, that's a drive, fly fishing. Yes, it is. But, hey, listen, Mark, from Boston down there, it's, what, 10 hours, too? It's about 10 hours from Boston. Maybe 11 hours, 12 from Boston. And you're coming, too. I don't want to hear it. We go to PF most years, and I thought we could schedule that trip around your meetup. Well, you need to. Love you. It's awesome. I always hate it when Matt leaves. It's like, oh, Matt's awesome, man. He's got a great sense of humor, and he'll roll with it. You know, if somebody's picking on him, he's fine. You know, he just rolls right with it. He knows how to play along. He's really good at it, and that's a lot of fun. I tell you what, the more this community grows, and we're growing every week by a little bit more consistent. Our numbers. I watch our analytics as we're talking, and try not to let it rattle me or whatever, and trying to learn the timing of it, like in my mind, and also trying not to worry about it. That's kind of difficult, but wondering what key moment did 2 or 3 people leave, and when they come back, what seems to sustain, what kind of conversation seems to sustain people the longest. And again, it's something that I probably need to do afterwards, as opposed to trying to do it during the video. It's not possible, but I'll tell you something that what we do have going on that we picked up a month ago when we started this is we have some consistent people. So when we start our conversation, the people that are in here, they stick around. And that's good. I mean, yes, I think last week we had 38 or 39 people intermittently in and out. It's not too shabby. It's not terrible for this channel at all. So at 38 or 39 in or out, and I forget how many, I think we hit 100 plus people who've watched it so far. No big deal. And that was an edited version. Because we had said some things in the video I did want to edit out. I had said something, not we. I had said some things that were kind of yuck, and I was like, I'm not leaving that in there. So I put some music behind it and recut it. But when I looked at our analytics, it's not too bad. So we're doing something here. Something's growing here. So stick it out, man. And I'm glad you're here. I'm thankful, and let's build this thing together. It's only as good as you allow it to be. And when you start building your stuff, because we have a lot of other YouTubers and soon-to-be YouTubers. Again, Mike, Leah, I know you guys are going to pop out a channel here soon, and that's going to be exciting. I want to be a part of that. Put me down right now. I want to be a part of that and support that. It's going to be a lot of fun. But as we grow our stuff together, I'm telling you, it's going to be great. We've got something going on. Strong's Adventures, talking to Mike, to Matt Sieber. Mark says, no, with my wife, it's 36 hours. Okay, all right, fair. That's fair. I gotcha. Carolyn's pretty good at driving, and Carolyn does most of the driving now, which is great because I'm usually when we leave a location, a filming location, video location. What I've been doing is, we started out, I would do the crash at home and then work to try to get the video up. And then it dawned on me later, if we're driving 4 to 8 hours home, 12 hours home, 16 hours home, that's 16 hours I could be cutting a video. So I started bringing the laptop with me and started cutting on the way home, and she would drive. So she does most of the driving now. But I don't think there's any place. Carolyn and I usually drive straight through. We drive at least 10 hours before we get a hotel room, so if it's a few-day trip. But anymore, for Carolyn and I, if it's over 10 hours, we fly. But if it's under 10, we drive. So we're doing pretty good. So Mark says, no, okay, then Fly Fishing says, it takes a while to build a good base. And you know what, Fly Fishing? It's all about the base. It's all about the base. About the base. About the base. About the base. It's pretty clear. Okay, I'll stop. Wish YouTube would to allow edit live chat. You can't edit on live chat, but you can download the video and recut it. And technically I could download it and have a what I call a sequel. You've got the live chat, then the edited version. You could do that. Changing quite a bit of it. Like in some of our conversations, I could put effects in between transitions and things like that, and I'm pretty sure it'd be considered a different video. I'd have to look that up. Leah, get to work on that for me. I'm just kidding. I think it has to be different content, and I think like anything else on YouTube, it's one of those things where I think if it becomes a problem with a creator where they're putting up the same content again and again, because it's got a good thumbnail or a good idea, they're going to crack down on that. Mark says, never, never allow my wife to drive my Jeep. Mark, man, I used to say things like that. All your base are belong to us. Yes, all your base are belong to us. I have no idea what that's supposed to mean, Mike. I mean, all my base is your base. My base, your base. I don't know. Mark says near death experience, right? Near death experience, Mike. Here's a. I had a Chevy Silverado that I got right before I left Chattanooga because coming up here I knew the weather was going to be what it is this year, and we've used that forward. We had to use the 4-wheel drive today. We were gonna, like I said, we were going to do a video shoot, and I don't know how much it was. It was pouring. It was snowing so hard that they couldn't get the salt down fast enough. And Carolyn was driving, and we started sliding a little bit. It was no big deal, but the point is the roads are bad here all the time. But I'll tell you, Carolyn drives the Silverado. It's a big Silverado, but she drives it more than I do. She's a better driver than I am, so that's fine. She did a good job. Bill, a Strong's adventure. I drive pulling the trailer, and the wife and kids know that they better go to the bathroom and get something to eat while I'm fueling the truck. I used to be hardcore, Bill. Man, when my kids were little, be like, you better pee now. You better get you something to eat now. And we would leave at night so that they wouldn't bug me. And now I'm the one stopping every 15 minutes. Every 15 minutes, like, I got to go to the bathroom again. I got to go to the bathroom again. And my daughter, last time, my oldest daughter was riding with me. Because, my youngest daughter and I, we stop about the same rate. But Anna, last time Anna was with me, Anna was like, Dad, really? And I remember getting mad at her when she was a kid, and like now I'm the one stopping too much. I don't get to drive with her as much anymore. She's a big girl. She drives her own. She does her own thing. Mike says it's an old viral from the late '90s. Look it up sometime. Bass. I don't know what you're talking about, man. What are you talking about? You're killing me. All your bass are belong to us. Okay, hold on. All your bass belong to us. My engineer went to sleep early tonight. Yeah, I see it populated really quick. Your faces. I get it now, Michael. Sorry. I'll have to check more into it later, though, to make it even funny. Yeah, Carolyn's like, don't be mad, but I'm so sleepy. I need to go to sleep. And Carolyn's a type, man. There was time to go to sleep. She goes to sleep. I couldn't believe she stayed up as late as she did last time. But, it's a couple of people have asked me, why do you have your chat so late? Well, it's kind of like the crowd I want. I want the 9 to something, 9 p.m. to something. Anything earlier than that, man, the kids are running around. You can't get into a conversation with little kids running around. You can't talk. You can't do things like that. Mark says, oh, that's Bill. Sorry. They're just enjoying themselves in the chat room. So they have this thing called Super Chat where your comment goes to the front. I guess this is how it works. Your comment goes to the top if you throw somebody $10, 20 or something, 5. And so I'm in the shower the other day. Just because I know I guess the sense of humor and why I love this is becoming one of my favorite things about YouTube. It really is what we do in here. And again, I'm hoping it grows and gets bigger and all that stuff. But I just started thinking about what would happen if I even tried that in this group of probably being assassinated by my buddies, that are in here just going, oh, really? You going to make us pay to talk in here now? And I thought, nah, it's not who we are in this world. Let other channels are good at that. Like they can go right ahead. So Dennis, you really like your fifth wheel. You really like your fifth wheel. That's that. You know what? I was, I grew up in a motorhome. You know my story about Dad being an evangelist and stuff like that. And so that was always the discussion in our house because we had like 4 or 5 motorhomes over the course of 10 years. And that Dad would talk about a fifth wheel, but then but we always had a motorhome as opposed to the fifth wheel. And I think if I would rather stay in a hotel room now for me, because it's like I've got to pull that thing. I got to think about maintenance. I got to think about keeping it going. So it's like, man, I can just stay in a hotel room and let them cook me breakfast, for the sake. Because, if you do the cost analysis, you can stay in a Hilton as these days, almost about the same. It's not that much of a difference. But so you have to like love the fifth wheel or love the motorhome to make that your thing. And I just thought, nah. But it's fun. It's a lot of fun. I know that. It's a lot of fun. You talk about Disney, Dennis, going down there and staying a couple of weeks. What a time. That would be an awesome time, especially if you go in the right time of year. If you go in February, there's not a better place to be. If you pull that in January, you better have that air conditioner service before you go. It's hot down there in the summer. It's hot in southeastern Tennessee. This is the best summer that I've had in a while has been here in Virginia. Up here in the middle to northern part of Virginia, it's probably the best summer that I've had since living in Michigan or just visiting my family in Michigan. Barberville, Kentucky had great summers though too. I mean, I remember going to football camp at Union College the first year there in 1992, and me and the boys from Georgia and Florida laughing, going, "This is the easiest football camp we've ever been to," because it just didn't feel that hot to what we were used to. But still, it can still get hot in Barberville. Mark says, I hear you, Bill. I used to be able to drive from Massachusetts to Virginia without stopping. Those were the days. I don't think I can drive from here to Stanton, Virginia without stopping. And Stanton's like 26 miles away, and I'd probably have to stop at like the 4. This has happened. You know, Harrisonburg's a big town. It's got like 4 or 5 exits. I can't remember. And we're at like one of the exits more north. And so I have literally had to stop at the last Harrisonburg exit. Anyway, yeah. Dennis says, best investment we have made is buying a fifth wheel. Absolutely. A lot of fun. Mark says, loving this chat session, Bill Marion. What is that? The whole Bill Marion thing. I don't like. Oh, okay. Excellent. Excellent, Mark. Welcome. I don't really know what the Bill Marion thing is there, like why it says Bill Marion. I mean, I'm Bill Marion. Don't get me wrong. But I just, like, is that just because you type the name and then it pops up that way, I guess? I don't know. Help me out, man. $35 a night to camp at Pigeon Forge. And you know what? That's not bad. That's not bad. But we were looking at the parking, the camp up here at the Skyline Drive. Now it's expensive up here. It is. It's expensive. You're looking at paying, I think I saw $75 up at Big Meadows. I might be wrong about that. We could probably Google that. Do some fact checking, Leah. Where'd Leah go? Where'd she go? Do some fact checking. I forget how much it is a night up there, but it's full hookup, Dennis. It's full hookup with sewer. No cable. They have the, everybody has the. When I was a kid, cable was a big deal at campsites because you may or may not have an antenna. But now these antennas they reach everywhere. They're amazing, and they're all digital. They're HD, so it's pretty cool. 110 for a hotel. That's a good point. That's a good point. I was thinking Disney, but you're right. That's a big difference right there. But again, you've got to haul it over the mountain or through Middlesboro. You still have to haul it. And that's gas. You got to count your gas in there. You're cooking your own food. I don't know. I think it's what you enjoy. You probably come out a little more ahead on the fifth wheel. Probably come out a little more ahead because if you stay in Pigeon Forge, let's say 2 weeks, then I just got sidetracked. If you stay there 2 weeks though, you're definitely gonna. I tell you what, Dennis, the longer you stay somewhere, the more you're going to come out ahead with the fifth wheel. That's how that would work. Definitely, because cooking your own food is always going to be cheaper than going out. Always. Harvest toast are free. Fly Fishing says instead of hotel motel for a week, look into renting a fully furnished home for a week. Cheaper to Florida to do this. Yes, it is, but I'm spoiled and want to stay on property at Disney. Yes, it is. We have buddies, the Austins, the Hartleys. They rent condos down there, and man, if you have an annual pass. Fly fishing, if you got an annual pass in Florida for the parks, Disney and whatever, and you stay at one of those condos over there, it's going to beat the socks off of any deal. I'm talking about it's nothing per day. If you look at what you're, and then of course you're going to have to save money with what you're, how you're eating and things like that. But still, yeah. But I'm spoiled because to me, part of the vacation is the staying on property. A part of the vacation is the eating at the restaurants there. That to me, that's a part of it, but it doesn't have to be. I think that's a personal choice. There are times though, I think I would enjoy the condo bit more. It's just that you're never there. That's the problem. But you could make it to where that's a part of your thing. Mark says, Bill Marion has left the building. He has been abducted. I will be moderating the rest of the discussion. There it is, right there. Bill Marion has been abducted. I don't know how to do any of that stuff. I'm still learning, and I need to read more on the stuff that I can and can't do in here. That's Bill, get back here quickly. I'm losing it. Carolyn. It's a story of my life, Mark. It's a story of my life. Absolutely. But yeah, it's Am I still? You're not being serious, are you, Mark? Because I'm freaking out if you are. Like if something's happened. If we still got people in here? It says 12. I don't know where everybody went. Everybody was rolling. We were rocking. I was talking to Dennis for 1 minute, and then all of a sudden everybody disappeared. Every now and then that happens where I'm like, where did everybody go? And then I look, and then it's like there's been like some kind of lag or something where people have been talking for like 15 or 20 minutes, like a while ago, and that was kind of crazy. Wanting to make there are 3 different types of movies that I'm wanting to make. Jose, you're a constant. Are you still with us? Is that from a movie? Yeah, we're here. I hear you, Dennis. I hear you, Dennis. My backyard life, hiding under the kitchen table. Now I gotta look. You're not down there. Just kidding. Fly fishing. Have you thought about inviting Rex Bear Leak Project to discuss UFOs? I do not know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about when you say Rex Bear Leak. What are we talking about? Is there anybody out there? The first time I heard that song, if that's what you're referencing, Mark, is that song. I think it's Pink Floyd, maybe. But I think the first time I ever heard it was on Natural Born Killers back in the early 90s. That movie was ahead of its time in what it's talking about. It's talking about media sensationalism, and it's way ahead of its time. Wrong table. That was good. That was awesome. Anybody remember the movie Natural Born Killers? Terrible movie as far as like I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. My kids were asking me about it recently. One of my kids, I said, do not watch that movie. But I was not where I should be in life at the time, so I watched it and watched it several times. I used to own the movie, and I was really into that. I was, it's so deep. Tatunga, tatunga, tatunga. Mark is lost. Mike says, phase shift. Man, I think Natural Born Killers actually opens the door. There's several other movies that come after Natural Born Killers that were along the same, same vein, which is Pulp Fiction was one. Another one that was, I think, Pulp Fiction is just good storytelling, whereas Natural Born Killers was just, I don't know, probably its own video right there. I don't know. I don't think I would feel comfortable probably even talking about it now. I think it would just be, it's just too weird. It's too weird because I'm too old. It makes me uncomfortable, whereas used to, it was deep and it was dark. It's one thing to talk about like UFOs and things like that. That's one thing, but it's another thing to talk about, sinister bloodshed and things like that. It's like that's a no-brainer to me. What are we to do with a host that just goes ahead and gets abducted with no forwarding link on YouTube? I always leak it. You guys are watching me on here. Please tell me that I haven't disappeared because, Mark, you could mess with me and I would never know the difference. I would never know the difference if you guys were like, Bill, where are you? I would still be going, can you not hear me? Is something wrong? I would not know the difference. But, yeah, I would definitely leave a link. I've got links in the description of that bird video that would be really funny if somebody would check. Nobody ever checks the links in these videos, and I'm telling you, you're missing out. Fly fishing. He started out like you. He went to over 300,000 in less than 34 years discussing UFOs. And check out this channel. He'll discuss things with respect. Discussing UFOs and check out his channel. Okay, all right, I will. Hold on a minute. I got to write it down. I don't mean to take time to do that, but if I don't, Rex Bear Leak Project to discuss UFOs. Fly fishing. What do you think? Are you somebody inviting him into the chat or actually trying to do a video with him? I can't ever get a hold of YouTubers, or they're just ignoring me, which is fine too. But I can't ever seem to get a hold of some YouTubers when they get a certain size where they're actually, they'll actually talk to you. I can't. Part of the reason why is I don't have enough subscribers to help anybody, or to help them and grow from each other. Doesn't seem like I would. And that's one of the reasons why I always want to make sure to have plenty of of growing and starting YouTubers around, because to me, that's probably one of the best times. Um, I know that I could have really used it. Just somebody to say, hey, might want to try this, might want to try this, but I'm just glad you're here. Don't worry about it. Just keep making content. I'll watch it. I could have used that when I started making videos. I did this alone. You know, now we're the fastest growing demographic on YouTube, 35 to 55, but and really 55 and up is growing exponentially as well. What it is we got our kids were watching it. You know, they had a login and password. Now we're starting to catch on. We're late, and so it's exploding. So I wanted to make sure that I had a channel ready to go. But man, when I started in this, I was just an old man to most of the YouTubers on there, and the people that I probably would have fit in with, you know, older, I didn't want to, because their channels was like, your channel is going to be irrelevant. And sure enough, most of them are gone now that were my age then and trying to do what everybody was trying to tell me to do. What you need is a fishing channel. What you need is a boating channel. Yeah, you know, I get it. That would be great. That would be awesome. The problem is I'm competing with 25 billion other people doing the same thing, and they're better looking, taller, and skinnier than me. You know, they got better equipment than I do. So you gotta bloom where you're planted and use what God's given you. Just checked out Rex. He's crazy. I don't want to check it. I would check it right now. The problem is right now I'm a little unstable on the channel right now, so I'm trying not to do anything too crazy. Mark says, Tongs, maybe we need a video of some Southern cooking to reconnect. You invite him to do a split screen. He has some, Mark, I'm not kidding you, man. Don't mess with me like that. I'm too gullible. I will believe that. I'll be like, they can't see me. It's because I'm like all live stream insecure. So I'm gonna call it. That'd be a great video title. Live stream insecure. Who was telling me last stream or stream before last about the senator, about the tilt, about Guam being tilted or something? Because I used that in one of the titles, but it messed up. Anyway, Bill at Strong's says you have plenty of subs to help. Not really. I mean, wait, let me rephrase that. Yes, I have plenty of subs. That's my whole point. Is I want to be. Let me see some, Teresa. I do what I want for me as far as my channel. Rather than join me, well then all the better. There you go. I don't know why that why did that ask me to check that, because there was nothing wrong with that comment. Look at Teresa's comment. What did I miss? Because it was like telling me to make sure that comment was okay. I do what I want for me as far as my channel, and if others want to join me, well then all the better. Well, yeah. I don't know what you mean, but okay. It wasn't what I said, was it? I didn't hurt your feelings or anything, did I? If I did, I'm sorry. I wasn't saying that to hurt your feelings or anything. I'm sorry. I feel awkward now. The video wasn't playing for me. Just got you back. Really? I'm telling you, Mark. You're gonna do it. You're gonna get it. Well, here's the thing. Yeah, I do have. I feel like we've done really well over the past year, and I don't know how many of those are subscribers. And there's a difference between having subscribers and active subscribers and all that jazz. Because just because somebody hits that subscribe button doesn't mean that they hit the notifications button. And if they didn't hit the notifications button, you're not going to show up in the recommended that often unless they're watching things like you. And the idea that they are all the time decreases exponentially with the more subscribers that you have. Okay, so that's just a fact. I got that from Hank Green. It wasn't his words, but close to it. I mean, I'm paraphrasing his words. So, because he was talking about, because YouTube made it to where you had to click the notification bell. That was a few years ago. And I guess it was 2 years ago or something like that. I can't remember. And people were really griping about it. And Hank was like, it's really not that big of a deal, because really just because you're a subscriber doesn't mean you're watching the channel. So, but you made my point kind of for me. If I have 5,000 or 6,000 subscribers, why wouldn't people want to come hang out and, man, try to get, we all make similar content. We're all, very normal, accessible people, and you kind of work it together. Oh, Patrice said, I'm missing a lot of the conversation because I'm at work. Sorry. Teresa, man, I'm just glad you're here. No, what we were talking about is like, hey, trying to get together so YouTubers can help YouTubers and just stuff like that. No big deal. I'm just glad you're here. Thumbs up. Fly Fishing says, do you watch it? Didn't you watch it? I'm lost in the conversation now on the chat. I have no idea what we're talking about. Mark says, the video wasn't playing for me. Just got you back. Oh, okay. Mark has lost it. Lillian said, Mark's just messing with me. That's fine. I get it. I'm gullible. I'd believe it. Yeah, but you've got to understand that when you're starting a YouTube channel, whoever you are out there that's starting one and you're watching one, when you're busting your can and you're working hard and you're 30 videos in or 40 or 50 and you're looking at the subscriber count and it only has 52 people. And Bill, you may have never ran into that with Strong's Adventures. You guys, I think you had 400 subscribers last time I checked. I don't remember. You're doing great. But when you're busting out all kinds of videos and you're not growing but maybe by one or two a month, it is a sad, sad feeling. And you're thinking, man, my buddies won't even help me out because you're sitting there thinking about, where are my friends at? Where are my friends at? Why don't they throw me a bone? And the best thing that ever happened was me not pestering people too badly to please subscribe. I didn't because it was like I didn't want to get made fun of that bad. I just didn't. So I wouldn't say anything. I just kept making content. And I don't think anybody should have to go through that. I think people need to earn their, don't get me wrong, people need to earn their junk and, whatever. But yeah, but you can also grow communities together and there's nothing wrong with that. Anyway, did you watch Hank Johnson video? Hank Johnson. You two might think she was asking for new friends. Oh, okay, I see. But she wasn't. We all know she wasn't. She was just talking. I knew exactly what she was meaning. She's fine. Okay, and Congressman Hank Johnson. Yes. Okay, I had to look his name back up again. Yes, and he was cracking me up. But I actually included him, Mark, or included that comment in the title. That was just for you, man. Just for you. It was like Guam is tipping. I think, what did I say? It was like a slew of bad things happening, and at the end it was Guam is tipping. But something happened with the live stream last week. I did it the exact same way this week, except I had to add another thing that I didn't know I had to add. It was basically the live stream key. I didn't know I had to add another. I didn't know how to do that again, but I did. And so this time it worked out well. It's working out really well. From what I can tell, we've had great stream ever since. And so that's good. That's always good. GBY all work calls. What does GBY mean? What does GBY mean? GBY. Anybody got GBY? No? No? Yay. I got nothing. Oh, okay. All right. I'm also trying to get trying to figure out how long should we stream. I know that we were at our best between 9:20 something and 9:45, 9:50, and then from 9:50 to about 10:10 we maintained. After 10:10 we started dropping, and we've maintained. We're got about the same now for the past 10 minutes. But I'm wondering when you bring it. When do you stop? Because I could do this till 11 o'clock, not a problem. I mean, it's just I can keep going, especially if I know I'm going to 11. Then I can have content prepared in my back pocket. And so that's something else I'm trying to learn, because I've scheduled this between 9 and 11. That was the schedule, because we went 2 hours a couple of weeks ago and it seemed to work out for everybody. But we did run out of gas last week. Everybody I could tell it was just running out of gas. Strong says, Bill says we can only manage 1 or 2 videos a week. You're going to have to work harder than that, Bill, if you're going to be a YouTuber. I'm just kidding. I just now started trying to make 4 10-minute videos a week. And we've done 3 in 4 weeks since January. Since the beginning of January. Maybe more than that on average. I think on average we've done more than that. I'd have to count. Matter of fact, let's do that real quick, because I need to be right about that. Actually, I'm too scared to count. I'm afraid I'll lose the live stream, so let me do it this way. Bear with me. I want to find out how many we're doing, but I'm going to make another point. When YouTube changed everything up a couple of years ago, it really messed up what I was wanting to do with this channel, because what I was wanting to do was make quality content, 25, 30 minutes long, and build a base with that type of content, and that went out the door. When they changed the algorithm, nobody's going to watch it. So the whole idea was more content, less quality, as far as from my perspective. I'm looking now at how many videos I've made. 2 weeks ago, quite a few. Wow. Okay, this live stream was, okay, I remember that one. 1, 2, 3, that's 4, 8, 12, 16, 17, 18, 19 videos since the new year. So whatever that is, it's more than 3 a week. Lots of coffee. There's an 8 hours live stream. Push it, Bill. I've wondered about that. Like, do people do that? I couldn't watch. I wouldn't watch a live stream that long. I think John and Hank Green did one. They do one every year where they have like multiple cameras, and they have a staff of people. Though, by the way, they're Hank Green. I think he runs an entire like huge business. I think it's still considered a small business enterprise, but I mean, he's the CEO of his company. But they have like several locations going, and they're raising money for their projects. But I've always found them fascinating anyway because, man, they just find a way to make stuff happen. But I forget how long that they're on the live stream, and they just keep talking and talking and talking, and it's pretty impressive. I mean, it really is. See, Dennis says, or Diet Mountain Dew. Man, Diet Mountain Dew brings the funk, man. Diet Mountain Dew can wire you. Yeah, and the real sugar Mountain Dew, the problem with real sugar Mountain Dew is you get the crash, but man, the real sugar Mountain Dew will wire you as well. I drunk some of the way back from Virginia down back to Chattanooga before we actually moved up here physically, and man, I mean, by the time I got to Knoxville from here, which is about 5-6 hours, man, I was rolling. 8 hour push it, Bill. We can only manage 1 or 2 videos a week. Oh yeah, back to that. So yeah, Bill, it's with your channel. I think the hard part to that, I think what you'd probably have to do is find a way, because your guys, what you're doing takes a lot. It takes money to buy the stuff, and then the effort and the time. Not to mention the edit down. I mean, editing gets faster. The more you edit, the more well, kinda, because then you start wanting to do more complicated things, and that takes longer to learn. But you know what I'm saying. I think you probably will have to find 2 or 3 things that you can do during the week just to add 4 or 5 minute videos, like that have nothing to do with cooking outside. That probably, I don't know, how to pre-make your seasonings or ideas, things like that. Talk amongst yourselves. But you know what I'm saying? Just something a little different, something fast paced that you can put out to people, some clickbaity kind of things. And that's what honestly, that's where we're at. That's what we're trying to do. Is I've got this awesome scene today. I mean, it is absolutely killer, of this enormous snow cloud that is just engulfing this mountain. But it doesn't look like just clouds coming in from the heaven. It looks like a space alien cloud system that's pushing against the other mountain, and it's just beautiful. And I'm thinking, how can I get this 35-second video? And I think Carolyn took 30 or 40 pictures. I need to make a 4 or 5 minute video with that. I need to have that out in 24 hours. Yeah, that's the way I'm thinking all the time. Yeah, Bill, thank you for asking. And I'll tell you what I'll do. Strong's is asking me about Jolt Cola. Oh, wow, Mark, you went there. That's some old school thinking. Mark was asking me about, do I use TubeBuddy? Yeah, I sure do, and I appreciate you asking, Mark. TubeBuddy is probably the difference that they probably made one of the biggest differences in my channel. I was wanting to do it all on my own. I didn't want any type of third party help. I didn't want to invest any money, which is dumb. You're going to have to invest into any business. If you're going to take your hobby and you're wanting to turn that hobby into a business, then all businesses require investment. Don't be like me and wait as long as I have till now to start trying to make the investments that I need to do. Don't do that. That's a waste of time. All you're doing is hurting yourself, and you're delaying your success, and that's just silly. And what I'll do is I'm going to post a link. You don't have to click on it if you don't want to, but I would appreciate it that, since I don't do any type of, I don't ask for money in our channel or anything like that, and I never will. That's just not a part of our business model. I know, and there's nothing wrong with other people doing that, by the way. I want to make sure that everybody knows that, because I don't want anybody weird be like, I don't want to tell Bill because he doesn't agree with that. No, it's just I can't. I'm a preacher, and it doesn't look good when preachers always, there's a forum in which I have to ask for collections and offerings and things like that, and this doesn't need to be that forum. And so our business model here has to be a little different. So on this particular model, what I do is I have an affiliate link that I put into some of my videos, and it's through TubeBuddy. And what you can do is, if you have a YouTube channel, you can click on that link, and if you decide to go with TubeBuddy, to me, they were great because, honestly, they were there. They just happened to be at the right place at the right time on the right screen. Because if you're making YouTube videos and your thumbnails are terrible, nobody's going to watch your videos except your buddies, or except some people that bounce into it by accident. Would you like a link? I just sent you a link. No, what are you talking about, Mark? What are you talking? Bill, did you know there are pyramid remnants in the Grand Canyon? Mark, I was at the Grand Canyon, what was it, a year ago, May, and I've been there several times throughout my life. There are some very interesting things in the Grand Canyon and around the Grand Canyon. I'm looking at you dead in the eye through the computer. I can't see pyramids being down there, and I've been all over the thing, man. North entrance, the north rim, the south rim, down at the canyon floor. Carol and I didn't get to do what we're going to do next time we're at the Grand Canyon. We saw some things that this last time we were there, under terrible circumstances, and it's too much for this channel. But yeah, I think it's that there are a lot of things that have happened at the Grand Canyon. But when we say pyramid, here's what I'm getting at. Pyramid invokes in these days. It depends on what you're. Let me get to this. It depends on what you're calling. It depends on what you're associating with pyramid. There are we associating ancient aliens? That I'm gonna be like But if we're associating an Eastern connection to the Grand Canyon, yeah, I think so. Absolutely, without a doubt. And that's all I'll say about that on this channel. I can't say a whole lot about that on YouTube, and the only reason why is because it doesn't really help the content I'm creating. But yeah, Mark, I'll just be honest with you. And there's some very educated people in that world that I know that agree with me, or that I agree with them. I guess the best way to put it is I agree with them. They're a lot smarter than I am, and they wear two hats. By day they wear mainstream, and then by night they are as wacky as they come. And for them, it's not theories, it's fact. But again, when we say pyramid, it's if we're talking about where those rocks look like pyramids or thrones. Some of them look like thrones. I wish I knew how to take the pictures that I have and put them up. I didn't know we were going to get into that, or I would have. If you went through the pictures and the video footage that we made, and if you watch our Arizona video, you'll see some of that in there, Mark. You'll see a lot of that it looks that way, as far as the way the rock formations are, but those are not pyramids. But if you're referring to a cultural tie-in, an interesting Eastern culture or Middle Eastern or Eastern cultural tie-in to the Grand Canyon, yes, there are so many people that are reputable. The only people that don't say that there's there are some very big political reasons why some things people just won't talk about yet. I don't understand why. I guess it's political, and you're trying to not make as many waves with several different peoples, and I use that word peoples properly there, that would be offended, or maybe they feel like it takes away from them. It doesn't. If anything, it adds to them in different cultures and whatnot. But there was all kinds of amazing activity taking place around the Grand Canyon. When I say amazing activity, that's definitely another conversation too. But around 3,000 or 4,000 years ago, there was probably some amazing sights and sounds and wonders taking place around the Grand Canyon. It'd be pretty awesome. I don't know if that answered your question, Mark, or not, but there. Bill at Strong's Adventure says, Rhonda is OCD with the editing. Well, nothing wrong with that. And I honestly am trying to do just cooking videos. Oh, you're not trying to do just cooking videos. We actually use TubeBuddy. It was one of the tips that we learned at the YouTuber meet and greet. Exactly, Bill. You have to use something. If you don't know how to make thumbnails, it's funny because my wife has worked in and around media now for years and years and years, but she never had to make thumbnails. It's not something she had to do. She has to make them now for something else that she's doing. And there's a learning curve there. It takes a little time. It's not, my wife's a genius. So, she's going to figure it out quickly. And she's made some really nice ones lately, not for our channel, but for other things. But it took me, my first go at making thumbnails was terrible. And I'd been making, when I first had TubeBuddy, I started making thumbnails and trying to get that going. And for some reason, I still had the letters like this big. People still couldn't see them. It's like, why even use this thing? And it wasn't till later, sorry about that, I didn't mean to shake the table. But it wasn't until later that I started talking to some people at TubeBuddy. It wasn't talking directly to them. It was actually they would respond to certain videos and just kind of talk about, it was me and, I don't know, a dozen or two. It was kind of like a chat room like this where we would all get together and hang out, and they would kind of lead the conversation. And I would watch the replay. I never even watched it when I was in the room or when they were talking about our videos. But I would learn so much, just so much that was important. And when I started implementing First, I started implementing what they said. That's the first step. Implement the new thing. Then go back and fix if you can. That's when you start. And the other thing that I've been asked recently by newer YouTubers is how important are tags. They are very important. If you're not maxing out your tags, something is wrong. And TubeBuddy has one of the best apps in the world for your tags. It's not good enough to just put down when you get that video uploaded and you say, okay, I need my tags now. Okay, so let's say I'm making a Virginia Skyline Drive video and you put in Virginia Skyline Drive. Well, that's a terrible tag. It seems like a no-brainer. But guess what? Every YouTuber that's ever been on the Skyline Drive has used that tag. So yes, it may be searchable, but it may be real searchable, but you're ranking with other YouTubers that have used that again and again and again. So this app that TubeBuddy has really forces you. I mean, it really forces you to become more creative with your tags and to think more about your tags as opposed to, okay, Virginia Skyline Drive. Well, it's in Virginia. There's a tag. It's the Blue Ridge Parkway. There's a tag. Those are terrible tags. They're awful tags, and they don't compete. So you have to. It forces you to start thinking about what are different ways that I can drive people to my content that's different than the way other people are driving, people to their content. So I think TubeBuddy is probably one of the best tools that I could have used. It's simple, and I'm still learning it. I'm still not using it right. I'm still not using it right. Again, I think if you're born after 1980, we have a little bit of brain damage anyway from Chernobyl. Chernobyl messed us all up, so we're a little slow. Because I could have done all this coming out the gate. I'm almost glad I didn't, because I think my first 40 videos were so bad, and so different. I kept wanting to be, and if you've watched a lot of my videos in the past 6 months, you'll probably recognize this line, but I couldn't decide whether I wanted to be a conspiracy channel or Rick Steves. And I don't know if you know who Rick Steves, who that is, but Rick Steves is like a travel to Europe kind of guy, and he was PBS. He was on PBS forever. And I really liked him, and I liked his style. And I didn't know who Bill Marion was on this platform. Hey, what's up from East Tennessee, Cherokee Lake, Tennessee? I'm glad you're back, man. I am so glad. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I said man, but you could be a lady for all I know, because at Cherokee Lake, Tennessee, that's like, could be man, could be male, could be female. So welcome, person. Thank you. Glad to have you. We're talking about like TubeBuddy, if you're starting a YouTube channel and things like that. Glad you're here. Make sure that y'all click that like and subscribe button on your way out. But anyway, I don't mean to wax strong and poetic about TubeBuddy, but other than to say, when you go back in time, after you've dressed up your current videos, then you go back in time and you work on 10 or 12 a night, get the thumbnails straightened out, go back and look at those tags. Those tags mean they're precious, man. Those tags have got to be right. And do a better job than I do to this day on titles. I think titles are important. And never look at yourself and say, but my channel's different. We don't do that. I would say that anything to give you an edge, I would do it. Cherokee Lake, Tennessee. There's my 2 cents. I don't know. I had several videos that get 10, 15,000. My video about Opryland, USA was one of the first ones that did really well. And then my Cumberland Gap video did real well. But I think the one that did the best was probably the one that shocked me the most was the Grand Canyon. And all the people from Arizona who watched it, and they're just the sweetest people in the world. I mean, they're just the sweetest people in the world. If nothing else, I wish I could get back to Arizona just to make another Grand Canyon video or an Arizona video, because of how nice the people in Arizona have been to me. They're just wonderful. Are tags related to using the search bar? Yes. Yes. That's the way I understand it. And if I'm wrong, man, Backyard Life, if I'm wrong about that, man, fire me up in the comments of one of my videos, or if somebody else is in here, because it'd be new to me. But it's how people locate your video based on what they search for. That's the way I understand it. It's one of the factors, but from what I understand, it's a very important factor. It's important enough to where if another entity is managed, let's say you have a website, and I'm running this right now with another thing that I manage.
And that particular website will not let us see their key terms or their tags that they use for the product that we have. And I'm not going to get into that right now, but it's about to get crazy up in here because I'm mad because I want to know what tags they're using. I'm frustrated that they say that that's a part of their proprietary, and it really makes me mad because it's like, no, because you could use that as a valve, hey, we'll use more tags if you pay more money. I don't like that arrangement, so we might have to change that arrangement. Bill says, Opryland is what hooked me. Hooked a lot of people. We picked up a lot of subscribers, but here's the thing, Bill. What I predicted 3 years ago with my wife, we were sitting on the couch, and I'd just gotten into YouTube. I've told the story 50 times. And I said, the demographic's about to flip. I said, I am not the exception to the rule. I said, there's a whole bunch of people about to land on YouTube and instead of just watching cat videos, not having an account, there's people like a friend of mine, Mike Lee, if you're still on here. This person went to the church we went to, and I talked to this person tonight, and they haven't been signing into YouTube, and they were concerned because they've not been getting notified. They've tried to comment on my videos, but the reason why they've not been notified and they've not been commenting is because they are not signed into YouTube. They've been watching my stuff through Facebook. And so they had to learn that you have to sign into your account through Facebook. And this person is about 15 years older than I am, give or take. Our generation is starting to learn things like that. And sometimes it's hard to admit that because, yes, there's a handful of us that may have known that. But a lot of people are waking up, and even all the way up through my mom's generation, they're waking up. And so, Bill, it's hysterical that when that video, I got a lot of views on that. It did okay for me. For our channel, it did great. But I didn't get a lot of subscribers from that until now. Now I'm getting subscribers from that video. And because people weren't doing what you and I were doing back then in our age group or close to it, they weren't signing on to YouTube yet. They would watch a video through Facebook, but they wouldn't necessarily sign on or they would surf YouTube. And now people are taking ownership of their YouTube accounts. And again, the fastest growing demographic, well, that's a great video for our demographic, is Opryland. But I make better videos now, and I would love to remake that video. That video is like, I don't know what, 5 hours long. It's ridiculous. It's the longest video in the world. It is so long. And I could do that video now in 15 minutes with better pictures. Because a lot of those pictures are so pixelated. I had some great help, though, with other YouTubers who were just kind of throwing up their family vacations of Opryland. They let me use some of that footage and had a good time. Had a real good time. Somebody commented on my bird and twitching video. Bird chasing and twitching. Commented, interesting, I didn't know there was a distinction between the 4 terms. I work with birds and research on birds, but have never gone bird watching. I would think that would be a prerequisite, though, to becoming like a biologist. I guess not. The term for this is big nerd. That's funny. Funny guy. What a funny guy. What a funny guy. Cherokee Lake says the Cumberland Gap Tunnel is one of the first I watched. Great videos. Welcome. Thank you so much. Now, I did gain a lot of subscribers from the Cumberland Gap Tunnel. A lot. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you guys are all subscribed. That's a great... And it's funny because I think I've either said this to you or a few of the other ones. I said this to you. Mark, you're killing me, man. You're hysterical. Mark's like, it's 10:45. I'm trying to be woke. The Cumberland Gap Tunnel is one of the first I watched, and it was a great video. It's funny, I don't make videos like that now. And because I see if I make a silly science fiction-y kind of video, it's going to be labeled science fiction, that kind of thing, because people took that seriously. I don't know if you went back through all the hate. It's one of the few videos. It has like 3,000 likes, but like 800 dislikes. Think about that. That ratio is ridiculous, man. I mean, that's usually, videos can be hated that much, sure, but usually that's just very odd. I'm glad you're here from that video, especially. So a lot of fun. I think people didn't know where I was going with it, and again, I took so long to tell that story. But Mark is trying to be woke. Anybody see the news where YouTube is basically getting rid of they're making it to where conspiracy theories that are borderline YouTube guidelines, they're basically gonna kind of hide. Anybody see that? They're not gonna demonetize them. They're not gonna kick them off the platform. Freedom of speech. They're really sticking to it, but they're putting them kind of like on the back pages. And when they mention which types of videos, they said it was going to be the flat Earth and 9/11 conspiracy. I thought, there it is. We covered it already here. Thank you, goodness. Bill Armstrong's Adventurer said, I got lucky and I hooked up with someone that has 15,000 followers but can't cook, but knows how to YouTube. Hey, there it is. There it is. You start. No, I was about to sing a copywritten song about two people walking in each other's direction, one being from Georgia, or meeting from the Georgia Pine. Remember that one? I'm not going to sing. You sing it. I can't sing it. I'm not allowed. But don't write the lyrics in here because that's a copyright infringement as well. Dear Dennis Jackson, Mark, stay awake. I've got to drive to Lexington tomorrow and I'm still awake. Dennis, go to bed. You got Lexington. Yeah, I tell you what. If you're having the weather some places are having, you're not driving anywhere. Did y'all get hit over there? I start talking to Dennis and I automatically go into my southeastern Kentucky accent. I don't know why. It just happens. Just bam, right there. Cherokee Lake, Tennessee. When I was a kid, we would go over to see family in Harlan County, Kentucky, and had to take the old past Cudjoe Caves. You know what? The tunnel was finished in 92, which is right when I showed up to be a terrible college student, which is in 92. And I went over there with who was at the time our associate pastor of our church and one of my cousins. Dennis, you might know him as Willie Doan. We went over to Bell County, and I think that was the last. I had no idea where I was at. I knew 25E from as being a kid and being on 25E before I moved there, or before I went to college there. But I didn't know the difference between 25E and anything else. But I think that was the last time that I traveled over the old road. And by the time I had my own truck up there and I was driving around, the 4-lane was in. But I know it was controversial. It was very controversial. And I've tried to find some of that stuff for that video about there were protests, if I'm not mistaken, over the tunnel because they, for whatever reason. But I couldn't find anything. It was pre-internet. The college I was going to, over Union, where my daughter's going, we didn't have email addresses till like 96 or 97. Cherokee Lake says, or let's see, Dennis Jackson says, no snow, just 19 degrees. Man, it is bone chilling cold. Bone chilling cold. It's supposed to get down to 4 degrees tomorrow night. I think tonight it's supposed to get down to like 9 or 10. Bill Merrick, did you ever explain twitching? Yes, twitching is the same as chasing. Chasing is these people that have this master list. I may not have explained it well. I mean, that's, what can you do? I may have been terrible at that because and I said this in the video and I didn't mean it offensive towards anybody that takes birding seriously. I wouldn't want to offend anybody, but those terms are very subjective. Again, anytime you have dude in your glossary of terms, but that's one of the groups they have dude. A dude is an average bird watcher, so birders are dude friendly. That was right out of the comments there in one of this groups, and it was a very popular group. But yeah, twitching is the same as chasing, and chasing is when they have this long list of birds that they have to locate during certain seasons. It's extremely hard to do, and they have to fill their list requirement. But in England, now this is what I did forget to say, Mark, is that in England they're called twitching for a reason, because at the very very mention of a rare bird, they twitch. They get excited, so they start twitching. So that's how the term twitching or twitcher started. It's kind of cool. Wife just handed me a snowball. Don't you want this? No, yeah, in my nightcap. Man, it's funny when you go from southeastern Tennessee to north middle of Virginia, right here next to West Virginia. It's definitely a changeover in your weather. Because I'm not used to it. We've had 3 snows this year. Saw snow today. A lot of snow today. Enormous. Not here in town. It's like you had to go. If you change elevation here 1,000 feet, you probably saw 8 inches of snow, 9. It was just that kind of, we were that borderline. But we're not used to this kind of cold weather. Not used to this kind of snow. We've had a blast. It's great. I mean, we'll probably get sick of it down the road, but we've really enjoyed it so far. I think my mom and of course, and my kids, I think they were wanting to see snow down in the Tennessee Valley. I know, Mark, twitching, it's like, really? Really? It makes for a great thumbnail. Birding, twitching, chasing. I mean, it just sounds wrong. Everything about that sounds wrong. But I think enough people know that what those terms. I think Birding gave it away. I think I should have just said, what could I have said? Dude, that would have been great. Dude, twitching and chasing. Dude, dude, chasing and twitching. Dude, chasing, twitching. It really depends where you put the emphasis there, doesn't it? Yeah, now we could probably wouldn't get the right kind of traffic to my channel, but I would get traffic nonetheless. Yeah, some crazy terms for that video. It was not a fun video to make. I had audio issues in that video process on that one. I've outgrown for about 8 months now. I've outgrown iMovie. I need a different video editor, and that means I've outgrown my computer. Really, it's a Mac, and I love it. We talked about this before, but I've outgrown my editor. I need a better editor, and I need a better camera. So I'm just praying about that and seeing what happens. So I don't know, guys. Turn out the lights. I almost did it again. I think the hardest part for me is not singing on live, is not singing the copyrighted songs, because they will hit you. Real quick for other YouTubers, again, I hate to take y'all's time talking about YouTube stuff, but I tell you what, if you watch a lot of YouTube, it'll make sense to you if you don't hear certain things. There's these companies in charge, they work for the for artists and recording studios. And they make it their job to go around and making sure that nobody is in copyright, that nobody's abusing copyright. But the appeal process is through those companies and not through YouTube. So there was a guy recently, it's not hearsay, I just can't remember who it was. Good night, Mel. I can't remember who it was. And there was a guy recently who was singing who was singing one of his songs that's copyrighted, and they gave him a copyright strike. Cracked me up. So I've always got to be careful. Well, guys, with that being said, I'm always so grateful that you're here, and I'm looking forward to that. Probably will have a spontaneous live stream sometime during the week. And if you can't make that, I understand, but if you can, I'd love to talk to you again. But if not, I'll see you next Tuesday night at 9 o'clock because I love spending our time together. If you have a suggestion for any type of content at all or what you want to hear us talk about on this live stream, let me know. You can always join us on Facebook at Bill Marion Life. Again, that's at Bill Marion Life. Or you can just go to one of our videos and pop in there and say, hey, Bill, let's do this at live stream. Whatever you want to do. I'd love to hear about it, and I will see you next time. You guys have a fantastic night.